We're pushing aside those winter blues and staying on the sunny side of life with our top 5 feel-good songs. Coming your way now.
Get ready for the 3324 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Welcome, friends, to the 3324 podcast, premier destination in 2023 for your home for music and movie podcasting. 2023 is our year, Eric. This is our year.
Yeah.
I feel it in my bones.
I think so. Starting off well. New Year's starting off very well.
Yeah.
We feel good.
Yeah.
Bigger
you sound very excited.
Bigger and better things on the way.
You sound so ecstatic. The excitement is palpable in your voice.
Well, just 3324.
Did I wake you?
We're in 2023. Next year it's going to get confusing, I think.
So you think 3324 next year will be a better year since it's 3324 and it'll be 2020?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like we might get a little tongue tied.
We'll have to come up with some clever promotion. 3324 in 24, something like a presidential slogan or something like that. Maybe, but right now we're here and we're glad that you're here with us and joining us for the tongue twisting fun that we bring to you each and every week, be it one of our favorite or movies or pieces of music or subjects that Eric and I connect to. We love chatting about it, and we love that you're here with us. Mm-hmm. Go check us out on social media. You want to chat some more? We're there. We'll talk. I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, that's true. You will,
as long as you're pleasant. Just be pleasant. That's okay.
No,
hit us up on the socials. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're always looking for encouraging comments, conversation, whatever you want to put on there. We're game. So
it's all good stuff. And then if you hit us up there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment there as well. This is a perfect episode to engage in. What are some of your top 5, or what are just some of your feel good songs? We haven't done a top 5 in a while.
We have not.
We kind of forgot. It was a mainstay. It was a mainstay of our game plan was to do top 5s one a month, and we were pretty on top. We were pretty on top of it, and then we started doing more movie content. We kind of got in a swing with that, and the top 5 was the first thing to get pushed off the table.
Well, it's exciting too because with the movie content, we have other people joining us. We've built this sort of round table of guests that are I don't even consider them reoccurring guests anymore. They're part of this now. I think officially
like Cheers.
Yeah, they are part of the crew
now.
Bar. And we have our usual suspects that we hit up, and because we enjoy the conversation, so that's exciting. New things happen, and then some things do get brushed aside. And I think we keep commenting on how well the 90s episode did. I think it's still the best.
It's our top. It's our top episode,
right? Yeah.
Of all time. So I forget about it, and then I'm like, I was like, Eric, we need to do a top 5.
We do.
with the holidays, we had a lot of holiday content too. So we did a top 5 Thanksgiving dishes. That was our last top 5. So that was we're talking almost 2 months ago. So we took a break for the holidays, but we're back with Eric had a great idea of especially in the winter. Yeah, because it's kind of one of those things. A lot of people, I absolutely get the winter blues. I absolutely, you feel a little lackadaisical. You just kind of, especially if you're in a non-warm or tropic climate. You're dealing with the cold weather. Although knock on wood, we've had up here in the Northeast, we've been blessed so far with a mild winter. And now that I've said that, here comes the storm. It's going to be blowing through. But
we did have that tremendous cold snap, which was a little tough.
To that end, Eric said, "Why don't we do some feel good songs, some feel good music?" And usually I would have almost associated this subject with the summer, because that's usually when you kind of You got the top down, and but I'm like, you know what? This is probably better for the winter. To bring a little bit of sunshine and
that's right,
that kind of thing into this into the gray sky. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
No guidelines.
No, I
in 2023.
Full disclosure, I just went. I didn't really think about this long and hard. I just right off the top of my head.
At first, I didn't. Yeah.
I did have a little bit of help because my wife and my younger son they wanted to contribute.
All right.
So 2 of my picks are for them. So it's their picks, but
it's a family affair.
It's a family affair. Yeah.
That was the I first jotted down 5, and then then I make the mistake of starting to really think about it and research, and
I know you overthink it. It's just so many.
That's what it is, and then you start to think of, well, what is a feel good song?
Yeah,
is it something that is specific to me? Is it something that's a broader song that like something that everybody kind of can relate to?
Right.
Is it a certain tempo? Is it a certain tempo that qualifies as a feel good song? Does it have to be
a happy song,
a fast song?
right.
Really peppy and poppy. So if you really start to kind of pull it apart and start pulling at the threads,
I would say all of the above.
You end up pulling the string out, and just
absolutely, yeah. And everything you mentioned is I think it's part of it. It could be personal. It could be. I tend to, I'm not a big fan of like sort of like poppy, happy lyrics. I prefer, songs that they might be a sad song lyrically, but it could be an upbeat song, right? I mean, it makes you feel good. If you're down, it could be cathartic for you. If you want to listen to something or something with a nice chill groove. Is
this a foreshadowing of what's to come?
No,
it's like
I did not go crazy.
Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Yeah, this is a feel good song. Makes me happy that I don't have his problems.
I promise you, I did not go there.
No?
So no, I did
not. Not the end by the Doors. Yeah,
no.
It could be worse. No. It could be Dead, like in that song.
When the music's over and. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So I was getting a little worried there. I'm gonna have to be like, try and find.
No, I do tend to do that a lot, but like I said, I wasn't that difficult. I just picked some songs that I've enjoyed over the years, and it's hard to then of course you start going, oh, should I go by decade? Should I pick one from?
That's what I first tried to do,
and I didn't do that either. So
I tried. I tried. I started at the 60s.
Yeah.
And I tried to do that. I'm like, okay, there's, this is something that's kind of, kind of representative of each decade if they've got it, and I kind of had them. But then I'm like, then I was kind of like, okay, great. But then I'm like, well, but I really like this song, or I really think this song is something special, So the good news is, I've got a bunch of the honorable mentions. And then the great thing about this is we get to do a playlist for this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is going to probably be a real banger of a playlist. I mean, I think this is going to be like something that people are going to want. So we're going to, what we do is we make a playlist of these songs on Spotify, and then we share it. We'll share it on we'll put it in the show notes. So if you don't follow us on social media, which is just shame on you, you could just click on it from the show notes and it'll take it to you. But we're going to have a nice playlist of. So let's get it going. Let's get this running. So for you, no particular order.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
As always, my number one is definitively, and it's been proven. That's the only hint I'm going to give to be the number one feel good song.
Okay. Definitively. Okay.
Scientifically proven. I'm not bullshitting. You're laughing at me.
No, I know. Okay. I'm laughing because I know it's true. Okay. I know that's how you roll. So, yeah. Right. You know what I mean? So,
all right. Well, without further ado, number 5. What is your number 5 of our top 5 feel-good songs? This should be a happy episode generally, I'm hoping.
Well, this is for my son Jacob, and he's going meta with this thing because it's just right in the title. and you probably can guess. It's Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. Feel Good, which is a really catchy song. It's amazing. I love the beat. I just love it. It's just so kitschy.
Yep.
When they first rolled this band out, it's like a virtual band. It's kind of like this one guy, he created these characters. There's this whole big thing, and the artistry of it is what I enjoy about it.
Yeah.
And Jacob's really into the stuff now, so he appreciates both sides of it. And but yeah, it's such a great track. And the way it just kicks off and just the first word, feel good, and it just comes right in.
Yeah, Gorillaz are kind of like a virtual band.
Yeah,
they're almost like a modern day Archies.
True.
Because they don't really they're the brainchild of a person, but the band is cartoon characters. They came out with a really cool action, not action figures, but figures of them a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The art is kind of like, I don't know who did the art, but it's very iconic. The caricatures and the drawings of the group Gorillaz with a Z, Gorillaz.
Yeah, so it is a collaborative effort. You have the one guy who's basically just a producer, arranger, songwriter, and then he collaborates with like guests. He brings in like rap stars and people like that to kind of make it lively. So there's a lot. Every album has like a guest star on it, and it's just fun.
It's got elements of rap in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it's got that kind of break in the middle where it's kind of like I don't know what the lyrics.
It's kind of trip hoppy. It's like it gets a little spacey with the out there, and then it just comes right back in with the rap portion of it, and then the beat.
It's just that repeating riff. Feel good, and it's just kind of it's just kind of like it's just there,
and the idea that these characters are the band that they're playing.
Yep.
Like when you hear that bass, it's that character playing bass, and I forget the name.
Yeah, he's like a big, like the bass player's like this really big kind of guy cartoon character, and
but the cool thing is that with each, they've been around for a while, so they actually made these characters grow up. Like the girl in the band was like, she started out as like a teenager. Now she's a grown woman.
Cool.
And that's the way they draw her and everything. So there's continuity, there's time, the time factor. So it's really, really well done. Really, really impressive.
Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc.
Yep. That's for Jacob.
That's a great start. That is a great start.
Yeah.
This one was my number 5 was a late, kind of relatively late entry. I was just kind of like, there was so many like honorable mentions, and I was kind of going back, and this is from 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder.
Oh, nice.
And it hit number 5, released in October of 1983. And it's not particularly like a favorite song of mine, but it's one of those songs I remember when it came out, everybody was singing this song. It was just kind of a really infectious 80s pop anthem type song, that kind of is just a really simple song, and it's just a really upbeat message.
Uh-huh.
The guy's vocal, Matthew Wilder, is kind of really high, kind of on the higher register. Almost kind of almost like a goofy vocal. But it's just it's just so positive. It's just so happy, the song, that you can't, ain't nothing going to break my stride. Nothing's going to slow me down. Nope. It's like, okay, that's a message for everybody.
Yeah.
Sure. and it's got its feet firmly planted in the 80s because it's synth heavy. It's got all those it's got all those trappings of a typical 80s synth pop, but I think I think the message is something that endures, right? It's kind of like that I think that this one might be the most representative on my list of really what a feel good song is, that kind of like everybody
can relate to.
Kind of it's kind of like that song, like if they play it at a wedding or they play it at a party, everybody's kind of dancing to it and enjoying. Even the non-dancers like me or whatever can kind of tap their feet to it, as it were. But
yeah.
So and it's funny, Matthew Wilder, one hit wonder, but not really. He went on to write a lot of music and produce. He did some production work for No Doubt. Did a lot of songwriting. He actually wrote a lot of the music for Disney's Mulan, the animated film.
Wow.
He wrote a lot of that music.
That's cool.
He did wrote a lot of that music. So he kind of went behind the scenes. You know, a lot of production work in the 90s and in the 2000s. But this was his one hit wonder, and it hit number 5. And again, sometimes if you have that one hit and it's just the right thing at the right time, it can be something that's enduring, you know, and it can kind of literally live forever. And Break My Stride is one of those. So that's my number 5.
Great start for you, my friend. Number 4 for me is from 1966, the year we were born.
I don't know about that. Maybe you said you were born that year.
Okay.
You're making some wild claims.
Are you immortal? Is this a Highlander?
My middle name is Trelane. Star Trek reference. Bing.
Yes. We definitely need a bell for that.
Star Trek bell.
Or maybe a little
ding.
Get one of those sound effects things.
We need a harpsichord for the Trelane.
Or maybe the door of the turbo lift. That thing.
That's when I need to leave and take a break. It's like, I'll be right back. And then it's gone, and I'll black the screen out. So, what you got for number 4?
I always love this track.
1966.
It's I just wrote it. Was probably one of the first songs I ever heard as a kid, and it just reminds me of where I was living in New York at the time. But it's a really sort of it's a grateful song, and I think you could apply it to just about anybody. And it's Bobby Hebb's "Sunny."
Wow.
Sunny, thank you for the, whatever. And it's just the way the song, it starts very simple. And then that you got those background singers, they come in and they enhance that. And then, he finally, by the end of the song, his voice just sort of crescendos into this nice, like it gets louder and louder. And I love songs like that. And it just, like I said, you could apply it to pretty much any gender or anybody that you're thankful for, or somebody in your life that might have helped you out at a difficult time, or maybe just your spouse or whoever. I think you could apply it to any, so it was such a positive song, because he's thanking, like he's just it sounds genuine. It's like he sounds grateful, the way he sings it is very emotive, and I love that.
I think we could have just stayed in the 60s and had a whole show.
It
was actually hard for, and you're so, and Sunny that's a great choice too. It's nice and mellow. It's kind of the opposite of what we were talking about it's not an up tempo, kind of pop, kind of poppy pop song. It's kind of more mellow, but the message and the feel is kind of light and airy. It's just got that light touch to it.
It has that R&B flavor, that sort of soul flavor.
It's got some horns in there, I think, right?
Yep.
Sunny.
So could he be talking about the sun? That could be a possibility too. It could be.
I always thought it was about Sonny Bono because Sonny and Cher was big at no.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe it could be that exact. I have no idea. Wow. But it's just
that one just fell flat. Thanks. You just totally. Oh, could be about it.
What do you want me to say? No,
Sonny Bono.
I got the joke, but I'm
the train kept a rolling over that one.
I think that's what happens when it's just the two of us, man. When there's other people here, you would have gotten roasted over the spit,
over the coals. It wouldn't have been a sunny day for me. It would have been. It would have been hot. It would have been hotter.
And you know who you are out there. You know who we're referring to.
Pretty much almost any guest.
I just let that shit roll, man. Because
no, that's a great choice though, Sonny. Like I said, kind of an antithesis to what I was thinking about when I was thinking about feel good songs, right? I was, kind of it's like that up tempo, bouncy, but Sunny's just kind of mellow, takes its time, but it's got that great message, and it's just kind of it's the vibe. It's a vibe song.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
So I dig it.
Nice.
So right. Yes.
Number 4, we're going to go to 1977. This one hit number 3 on the Billboard charts, and probably one of the greatest groups of all time, which is ABBA, and their song "Take a Chance on Me." That is, nice. It's whenever I hear it, I can't help but like, it's just such a well-written song. I'm going to say it. ABBA is so underrated. People think, Dancing Queen and, Mamma Mia and the movies and all that kind of stuff. And ABBA was so much more. ABBA was a powerhouse and a force to be reckoned with. You don't really, you take it for granted how like you think that ABBA is like throwaway pop music, but the stuff that these guys were writing, Bjorn and Benny, and the arrangements, and just how deep their songwriting abilities were to write for 2 female leads. And Take a Chance on Me is so catchy. It is just, it's probably one of their catchiest, they write, everything they write is great, but Take a Chance on Me is just so catchy. And it's just got the great vocals from Agneta and Frida. I just love it. I could listen to that song, like that one. I'll put it on and then I'll listen to it again, like right after, because it's just from the arrangement, from the music in the back. And that's the great thing about ABBA is those guys are composers. They're not writing a throwaway pop song. There's a lot of stuff that's behind it, but it gets lost because there's 2 great vocalists on top just killing it. Just killing that. They kill every song they sing. So you almost, if you're not paying attention to what's going on musically, but Take a Chance on Me has just got that bounce to it.
It does. And it's a perfect song for a cappella groups. They kind of, I always think of The Office when Ed Helms is trying to like hit on Angela. Because he was from his college
the barbershop
years.
Quartet.
He was part of an a cappella group.
I thought that was a quartet.
Yeah, so he got like these guys to come on, like he had all the phones set up in the office, so they're each phone has a different guy like doing a different part of the song, and he's singing the lead, and it's fun. It has that appeal. It has that perfect.
It just
take a chance, like
there's something for everybody. There's something for everybody. So the ladies can kind of sing the leads, and the guys can kind of be in the background, But it's just got that chugging, chugging kind of rhythm to it, And from what I read, Bjorn Ulvaeus, who is one of the co-writers, he's one of the B's in ABBA, was a runner, and he got while he was running, he got that take a chance, take a chance, like that kind of, he got that low like rhythm while he was running, and then brought it back and wrote a song around it. So it's kind of, it's an earworm, and it makes you feel good. Everything pretty much ABBA does makes you feel good, but that's my number 4 is Take a Chance on Me. This is going to be some playlist. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you what.
All right. Okay. So here, Number 3, the midpoint.
Yep.
It's an instrumental.
Interesting. Instrumental theme from SWAT.
I had
theme from SWAT.
Hey, you know what? When I was a kid, man, that was, used to run down the street pretending I was driving the SWAT van and like, he's on a skateboard or whatever, Yeah, but I'm gonna go with this song. I've always loved this rendition of it. It's actually by a group that nobody's ever heard, but my man Phil Collins is part of this group. It was a jazz fusion group in the 70s called Brand X, and he wrote this little song on an album called Product. And it's just a instrumental, like we talked about Hand in Hand from Face Value, and how you were advocating how that song made you feel. This song really takes it up into the strata. This particular version, it's a live version. from the Perkins Palace concert that he did with that tour of the in '82 when they were the fabulous jacuzzis that had turned into the hot tub club. But it was I first heard it on King Biscuit Flower Hour on NEW. It was a broadcast, and they broadcasted that entire show, which and then they closed the show out with this. This was like the encore, and this is like this really heavy jazz fusion thing that just builds, and it's just incredible. It's like everything you love about Earth, Wind and Fire, everything you love about when Phil really, that energy that he puts out there. He's behind the kit with Chester Thompson, and him are going at it. And Phil singing, well, not really singing, but he has this, it's like a vocal thing that he does in the middle. It's like the chorus of the song, as it were. And Daryl Stuermer, guitar extraordinaire, his playing on this he just kills it on this song. It's just incredible.
One question for you.
Yeah.
You're going to tell us the name of the song?
And the song is called.
I thought you forgot. Like he's way ahead of his skis.
Yeah, right. The song is called. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it's referring to. Could be, it's called "And So to F."
Like ANDSOTOF, right? And so to F.
And so to F. Okay. Yep. So I'm assuming that it has something to do with the music, the arrangement of it. But yeah, it's killer. I had it on a 12-inch single, and I think it was "Don't Let Him Steal Your Heart Away" from "Hello, I Must Be Going." And on the flip side, they had this on there, and this version, which wasn't on the the video of that concert, which I thought it would be, and I was so. Because I loved it so much, I never got it. And then, of course, when he re-released all his albums, it's on the Face Value.
Probably watching the video, and they're probably like, you know what, we got to cut something out. We don't have enough time on the tape. And so to F.
Yeah, but
take it out.
But it's, but it's killer.
Is it on Spotify?
Good. Oh yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's on the Face Value Deluxe.
Okay, so you want the live version.
The live version, it's that particular version, and it's just killer.
So it was done by Brand X, but you like the Phil doing it on his own, right? With his guy, with Daryl.
There are versions of Brand X doing it live as well on YouTube. You can find like the old Gray Whistle Test. They performed on that. They did it there. But it's a little bit more eccentric the way they do it. It's obviously a little bit more proggy and more sort of like all over the place. Here, it's like, he's got the Phoenix horns, enhancing it. And
did he write it?
Yeah, he wrote it. He wrote the piece.
Okay, good.
It's amazing.
Cool. I remember the song title. Yeah. Once you said it, "And So to F," I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I heard the track. I'm sure if I hear it, I probably will recognize.
Well, once you hear it, you'll understand. It's hard to say, once you hear it, you'll understand why. I always gets me going. All I want to do is just play along, or just I used to drive everybody nuts, playing that vinyl piece of. I wore that thing out because I would drive my family crazy. We're like, what the hell, because it's loud. Yeah. It gets really loud and boisterous, and of course the horns kick in, and it's those messy kind of horns that they and like they go up and down, the scaling and all that kind of thing. So it gets pretty wild, but it's I think you'll love it just for Stuermer alone, because I know you were a fan of Daryl Stuermer at the time.
Still am a big fan of Daryl
Stuermer. He's
a very underrated jazz guitarist who unofficially member of Genesis. They should have just made him a member of Genesis for crying.
I agree.
And then there were 4.
And I think what I wanted to, there was other choices that I had in mind, like, because I was thinking about Jeff Beck, and I was thinking about the jazz fusion stuff that he did, and I was thinking of like there was another track that I wanted to put, and I'm like, you know what? And it just hit me.
And so to F.
And so to F. Finally, I get to put that out there on a playlist of some sort. Got
the right subject.
It's great. Yeah, this was the perfect opportunity for that. So yeah,
awesome. So I think you're going to have the distinction, unless you've got another one, of having the only instrumental on the list. That's my hint. No instrumentals, and you've got the oldest song with Sonny. could tell you that much as well too. So, although my number 3 is going to come close, this was released in January of 1969, and it hit number 7. And this is another one-hit wonder. And the tale of this band is just horrible. Horrible. They had a manager that was using stolen credit cards to book their tickets and book their tours. And they get to the airport and they're like, you guys aren't flying anywhere. This stuff was stolen. The credit card was stolen that it was used for. And then they bought, the guy bought PA equipment and that got repossessed because the payments weren't being made. The group is the Spiral Staircase.
Okay.
And the song is More Today Than Yesterday.
Okay.
I love you more today than yesterday.
Yes.
One of the greatest pop songs ever in history.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Yes. Right? Such a great choice.
It is one of the greatest one-hit wonders. This group got totally screwed over by a bad manager because this song is iconic. It's one of the greatest pop vocals from the 60s, easily. The guy's got a timeless voice. It's clear, like the song is just it's 1969, but it feels like early to mid 70s. It feels a little bit ahead of its time. That's how just wonderful the song is, and that's just how greatly written it was and produced and arranged. And then the vocal is just incredible, and it's just a timeless thing, right? It's like kind of, you see it on mugs, you see it on T-shirts. I love you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. Half as much as tomorrow. Yeah, kind of a timeless message, but bouncy, and it's got the horns in it. It's just that typical late 60s, like coming out of psychedelia before the splintering of all the craziness in the 70s. There was a chunk of time where there's just really good pop music coming out. And Spiral Staircase, not spelled S-T-A-I, not S-T-A-I-R, not like stairs, but stare like staring at somebody, S-T-A-R-E.
That's amazing. What an amazing choice.
Yeah, they totally got
this is going to be a good playlist.
They got screwed 6 weeks from Sunday by their man. The guy was just the manager is a bum.
Sounds like a documentary on Netflix. You find on Netflix, because they had all these documentaries about that, these guys, credit card fraud and all that.
They actually the band even broke up. The band broke up because nothing was happening, and then the song became a hit. So they reformed, and then they got this bum manager who was just not doing anything right. So they got a hit on their hands. They got something they can get behind. And then they got their legs cut out from under them by the manager, who was just embezzling money or just using stolen credit cards. So what can you do? You put your best foot forward. You score a hit, a big hit, number 7. And again, it's one of those ones that's timeless. Like you hear this one at weddings, you hear this one at oldies parties, but it just sounds. It doesn't sound like 60s. It sounds. It's got a timeless sound to it, and the guy's vocal is just so crisp and clear, and he just goes so high and strong. It's just, how could you not like that song? It's just kind of, how could you not, and anything with the horns in it, it's like the bouncy horns in the background and the bass is.
I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of tracks with horns on this. I know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
I would say so.
Maybe in a different way, but so that's my number 3. More Today Than Yesterday by Spiral Staircase, and I even sung a little bit of it, which is just not something I should be doing.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you got what it was by my.
I didn't recognize the
the title.
I didn't recognize the song title. I recognized the name of the group, and I was like, it's like it. And then it's like when you started singing, I'm like.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's a timeless classic, but another one-hit wonder. My speciality.
Good job, my friend. That is an absolute gem right there.
Number 2.
All right, number 2 is for my lovely wife Kelly. Recommended this one. She's like, you can't go wrong with this one. It's one of the undisputed feel-good songs.
Was she holding a rolling pin in her hand when she was saying you have to put this, like you can't not put this in? Is this under duress and threat, or?
and that is Walking on Sunshine.
Oh, of course.
By Katrina and the Waves. This is like, it was a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, okay. That's the first thing she can. Katrina and the Waves. There you go. Yeah. You got to put this on. I'm like, okay, it's going on the list. So there it is. Yeah. And of course, I don't really think I need to divulge anything about this. I think everybody knows this song. You've heard it. It's a feel-good song. It makes you, even if it's on the corny side, I guess, but it's so happy. Yeah. It's so infectious. It just really, I remember the video. It just, it gets you going.
Yeah.
Get your feet to tapping, and it's just, it's the energy of it. It's bright. It's sunny. Like, you mentioned, a perfect song for the wintertime, winter blues. This is it right here. So
yeah, and it's so sad that these groups they make these iconic songs and they're one hit wonder. Katrina and the Waves, Matthew Wilder, one hit wonder. Spiral Staircase, one hit wonder. But these songs are just kind of like how what was it about Walking on Sunshine, or what was it about their other stuff that just didn't connect? With was this an outlier? Is there other stuff just really kind of different? Like, I don't know. I never really listened to. No, I remember when this song came out, though. They played this constantly on MTV. This song, constantly. You could not get away from it. It was pushed so hard because it's so infectious. It's just just got that. This is one of those ones. It's got the bounce to it. Yep. It's just got the bounce. It's got the great vocal, and it's got more horns.
And more horns. There you go. See, that's 3 songs with horns.
It's got a nice little guitar. It got a nice little guitar break in it as well. Yeah, Walking on Sunshine. It's like, feel good. Walking on Sunshine. It's sunny. You kind of have some. Your song titles are kind of a little bit in there too, except for In Soda F. But you've got Sunny and Walking on Sunshine.
Sunshine. Yep.
So and then Feel Good.
Maybe it's a little too on the nose, but hey, that's what we're looking for, right? I mean,
that's exactly
take us out of this melange of
funk.
This funk that we're in.
This funkin' winter. This fargen winter. Johnny Dangerously.
Oh my God! We
try no fargen tricks.
We should do that one. That's maybe, hopefully, maybe someday.
My mother shot me once. Once.
I think that's the only thing I'll ever like Joe Piscopo in.
Yeah, he didn't really do a lot of movies.
You know what I mean? He did. I mean, he did a few, but they were.
I mean, we saw that in the theater, and that was like when Michael Keaton was a comedian. It was kind of like that was his thing. You went to go see Michael Keaton in comedy.
Boy, did we saw that like 3 times in a row. I think in a span of.
I got my dog in my hand. Or Peter Boyle, when they blew up the toilet and he's holding the flusher. I got my dog in my hand.
Yeah. Hi, Pope. He's like,
Pope,
Dom DeLuise. And of course, the great Griffin Dunn rolling down the hill. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's like over.
Danny DeVito. So that was Batman and the Penguin together before they were.
That's right.
Right?
That's right, Johnny. Yeah. Hey, come have
some more grass-fed veal.
Some milk-fed veal.
Good stuff. Anyway, we're going off on a Johnny Dangerously episode spontaneously. Oh, without us even watching it, we remember it.
Oh man, yeah, it's great, fantastic.
Good stuff. Okay, anyway. So my number two. Yep. This is my vanity one, right? If and Soda F is your vanity pick. This is my vanity pick, and I advocate for this duo a lot on our social media and personally. Rachel and Vilray.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew you were going to pick them.
This is the opposite of the up-tempo stuff, but when I listen to Rachel and Vilray, it makes me feel good because they're so good at what they do, and the music is just so beautiful to listen to. Vilray, that's his name. Rachel is Rachel Price from Lake Street Dive, which is a group.
Lake Street, yeah.
So she's kind of like, she's got a voice. She could sing anything. In Lake Street Dive, she sings everything, and it's just kind of like whatever. she teams up, and Vilray was a friend of hers from like when they were in college, like in 2003. And that's actually where Lake Street Dive came from too, like a collective of people. But Vilray is a master songwriter of 30s and 40s style jazz standards, down to the terminology that they would use in those types of songs. That's why when I first heard Rachel and Vilray, they're just doing covers. It's like, no, Vilray writes this stuff, and it's so jazzy and it's so great. So the song I chose is "Do Friends Fall in Love," and it's just a great dual vocal with the both of them. I just love. It's like so easy going. The music, it's easy to kind of latch onto. Because it's so well done that you get fooled into listening. You think you're listening to something old, just because Vilray is just so great at doing this. He's just so good. And that's why I advocate for them, because it's like if they come around and you don't go see Rachel and Vilray, you're missing an amazing evening of stories, of like laughs, and of like great music. But and that's what makes me feel good. I've seen them like twice so far, and I just go and I just have such a great time just sitting and enjoying watching music being played. And it's not loud. It's not a big setup. It's just usually two of them. It's just usually the two of them. And it's kind of music in the opposite way, kind of like Sunny, right? Where it's not this bouncy song. It's just music that emotionally kind of, this is like my vanity one of, this makes me feel good. It's just kind of like, so. And they just came out with a new album last week, which I'm waiting for the vinyl in the mail, and I'm supposed to get like a signed thing from them, but I should have had it. That's bothering me. Like if you pre-order a vinyl, usually they ship it like a couple days before, so you have it.
That you have it on the release.
I want to listen to it, but I don't want to go listen to it on Spotify. I want to rip open the vinyl. So.
That's right.
But this is from their first album called Rachel and Vilray. So this is called "Do Friends Fall in Love," and it's just a beautiful song. Fool yourself into thinking that you're in a time capsule, but it's written contemporarily by this gentleman named Vilray, who's just
that's amazing. I love bands like that.
He's just he's an amazing songwriter, and he's so funny. The songs are wit that have that 40s wit to them. So it's not contemporary, like I'm on my iPhone. That it's not. It's of the vernacular is of the time back then, and it's stuff that you think you would hear back then. So it's really
she doesn't, and she does a lot of scatting, right?
Yeah, she does a lot. So does he. So he does a lot of scatting, a lot of whistle. There's a lot like the whistling that there was back then too.
That's great.
That's great stuff. So that's my number 2.
Was she ever involved in Postmodern Jukebox by any chance?
I don't think so. I think Lake Street Dive. I mean, she's done. She sang with Hot Tuna. I think they did a Jefferson Airplane type thing, and she sang Grace Slick stuff. She's done a lot. There's a lot of covers that she does, or Lake Street Dive does a lot of covers.
Yeah,
they just did Handle with Care recently, Traveling Wilburys.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I saw that.
They're very Lake Street Dive is very eclectic. They're kind of modern rock, pop rock stuff. But Rachel, she could just sing anything. She really is a very underrated. If you've never heard her sing, God, she's incredible. And to see her live, just standing right in front of you singing, go see Rachel and Vilray. She's if they come around. So that's my number 2. All right, we are on to number 1.
Yeah.
All right.
And
what's it going to be?
This is a timeless classic radio staple, FM radio staple from one of the greatest debut albums of all time. I think I think it's on the list of us talking about it. But man, it's probably one of my all-time favorite songs ever. The lyrics are, probably much more profound today than they ever were back in the day, because I just enjoyed the vocal and the music. And Peace of Mind, Boston. It's a stunner. I mean, I could have picked any song from their debut album, More Than a Feeling, of course, but Peace of Mind. And when you think about what he's saying in the song, it's not necessarily, all I want is my peace of mind and he's talking about all the, trials and tribulations of life and success and, that kind of thing. And it's like, but he's not saying that we have it.
Yeah.
We strive for
it. All I want is
my peace of mind. It's all we want. And that is the theme for today's times. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, if there's a song that's relevant, just a timeless staple, nobody needs to recover it. Nobody needs to redo it.
No,
it's perfect the way it is.
Can't do Boston.
It's just fantastic. And the vocal, Brad Delp's vocals is just, oh my God.
Yeah, the late Brad Delp,
he was just amazing.
He's got probably one of my favorite vocals. He's one of the, Boston is largely a faceless band. You just don't really know. Like there's not, Tom Scholz is the leader, but nobody even knows Tom Scholz anymore. Maybe back in the 70s, maybe early 80s. No one certainly knows Brad Delp, and he is just,
It's kind of like Chicago, right? Like you don't know what these people look like necessarily. That the early days, especially,
even more so Boston, because they're relegated to the back cover, and
that's right.
Like they weren't they were so huge, but you never knew who it was.
Right, they weren't a band that that necessarily. Like if you went to see them live, you would obviously, they would perform, but it wasn't like you knew these guys live. Like you saw them, like he would step out and be like the front man. It's like they were very.
It's not like the Eagles. Like for some reason we all know who's in the Eagles, but you don't know who's in Boston.
That's right.
You kind of know who's in foreigners like Lou Gramm and Nick Jones. But Boston was kind of always like kind of unknowns. And but you knew the voice of Brad Delp. I mean, he just has a voice that God. More than a feeling, that song soars with the angels and peace of mind.
Absolutely. And this was always my favorite of on that album. But man, like I said, anything from that record would have been a great choice. But and I've been listening to it actually a lot lately. Just every now and again I throw it on and I still get chills. Listening to it.
Yeah, it's great.
It just puts me in that place of like when things are tough. It's just like. It calms me down, and yet the song it soars, like it's a rocking song. It's an up-tempo song, but it calms me down at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's not a mellow track, So
but it's not overbearing. It's not screeching. It's just well done.
Right. Yeah. So that's it.
It's been such a long time. Right? I mean, Brad Delp is just. If he was better known, he would be like in the top 5 vocalists. And Boston wasn't really that prolific either. They kind of put out their first 2 albums like right on top of each other, which were had Don't Look Back and all that stuff. Then there was a while. Then that other one came out like with Amanda on it. It was called Third Stage or whatever. But that was like in the
that was like way
like you almost forgot about them. It was like, oh, the Boston and who wants to hear that? And they did have a kind of second coming with that. But then it kind of, then they kind of dropped off again.
Our good friend Dwight Burke was a huge. He was probably their biggest fan, and it's like I remember him waiting for that third album. He was so excited. When it's like, oh, it's a brand new Boston's coming out. And he was like, I'd never seen him get that excited about anything, and he was, I don't know if it met his expectations, but
I mean, it did really well. Surprisingly, that's the thing is you think, oh, okay, a relic from the 70s. They're trying to pull it back. You were seeing that throughout the whole 80s. All these groups like the Animals and the Hollies, all these groups trying to like regroup and be relevant in the 80s. So it's kind of like, okay, here's another one. But no, that song Amanda just kind of took off and was like a big hit for them. So Peace of Mind by Boston from their debut album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it. That's my number 1.
My number 1, like I said in the beginning, scientifically proven to be the happiest song of all time. Netherlands researcher Jacob Jolich has come up with a scientific formula to determine, using the beats per minute and the key, that a song is written in to determine how happy it is and how the happiest song. Not only that, a poll of 1,300 adults aged 30 to 55 overwhelmingly voted this song the happiest song ever. Any idea?
Is it a Beatles song?
Mr. Blue Sky by the Electric Light
Mr.
Orchestra.
Blue Sky.
Sorry, got to go Homer on this one. You can't lie with the. I'm not just saying. There's scientific. It's scientifically.
Hey,
proven.
I'm not.
I will link
it.
The article in the show notes if you think I'm bullshitting. This is not a bit. It was scientifically proven, and the poll and polls or people have been polled about this. It is the happiest song. Has been determined based on its beats per minute, which is 180, and the key that it is written in, which is F major, I believe.
Wow!
Putting that aside, it's just an incredibly uplifting and
of course it is
great song that is seen probably not even a second or third, but probably a 10th life throughout its history of popping up. Mm-hmm. Now it pops up in movies everywhere. You can't see a movie trailer about something happy without Mr. Blue Sky in it, even if it's not on the soundtrack. They use it now in the trailer just to kind of get that. You hear that and you get it. It makes it's one of those songs now that automatically makes a point. Like when it's used in a commercial, or I think it was in a Volkswagen commercial years ago, and it's obviously Guardians of the Galaxy for some reason when they're fighting an alien. It's Mr. Blue Sky. But it is you got to give the song its due. I'm sorry. I guess I'm an ELO fan, but like I said, this was.
Now I don't feel so bad for putting Phil Collins on my list.
There's no way that this wasn't going to be it.
Yeah.
Because it is. Right. It's got a tasty guitar solo. Not too overbearing. Of course, it's got a great arrangement. Definitely inspired by a couple of Beatles songs, most notably "A Day in the Life." That middle part with Paul McCartney, "A Day in the Life" is
right.
Definitely used that as the building block. He didn't copy the whole song. That is the building block for this song. Is that dun 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 dun? Yeah. But then Jeff Lynne takes it in a whole other direction with his orchestration. It is one of the lushest ELO songs. It's the end of an era for ELO for that type of music. You have to listen to the whole song though. Most radio edits will cut it off, but there's an instrumental part that you really must listen to, because that's what gets me. The most emotional part of the song is the very end of it. Is when the song resolves, when the song proper is over, and then it's kind of like a chorus part, which is I love ELO choruses. I love the sound of that. But then at the end,
chorus is the mellotron.
Yeah. But then at the end, you get all these strings start to resolve the melody, and it drifts into a piano, and then the strings again just kind of descend to a final note. That is music that gives me chills. The end of the song, the end of the song, and you really have to stay for it. Put on headphones, and it will get you at the end. It will.
Well, I would advocate that you listen to the entire third side.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that too. As a part of it,
it's part of a suite. It's part of a
concerto so those for themes, a rainy day.
For a rainy day. So those themes that you hear at the very end are others like.
It helps resolve the whole thing.
Big Wheels and Summer and Lightning and So
the third side of ELO's double album is called The Concerto for a Rainy Day, and it's 4 songs related to rain or weather. And Out of the Blue is the final song on the side, and it's the final song of the concerto. So if you listen to it as a whole piece, it's even more impactful. But if you listen to it on its own, just stay for the end. It's a happy song. It's still, but it just resolves in such a satisfying way. It just doesn't fade out And you want that because it's such a big statement. So that's the number one.
Fantastic.
Released 1977, only hit number 35. But a researcher in the Netherlands did his research, and he said, "This is the one, fellas, ladies and gents."
I am not going to.
I will not fight you. I will not fight you on this.
No, not at all. It is the perfect choice. I kind of was thinking, is he going to do? Is he going to pick Mr. Blue Sky? Is he going to go there? Is he going to? But it had to be. It just had to be.
Originally, it wasn't, but then I'm like, I'm looking at the list. I'm like,
because actually, I was thinking about Living Thing.
That could be one
that
too.
almost that almost made an honorable mention, but I figured,
Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely.
So that one always gets me, especially the last chorus, the third chorus in that song, when the strings kick in and there's that
everything's
big
just all the arpeggios and it's
oh my God, I get chills.
The violins are going through. It's just
we know we could go on this. We could talk about this for hours. I mean, that's just
episode 30, a new world record. I believe it was episode 30.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned honorable mentions. This is going to be a playlist. So you heard it before, but if you're just joining us for some reason, I don't know how you would be in the middle, but or towards the end. But this is all going to be on a playlist. Even the honorable mentions, we're going to put on the playlist. So this is going to be a really nice thing to put on if you're feeling the winter blues, or you just want some, or even in the summer you want some just fun stuff to put on. This is going to be a perennial. It's going to be a great playlist. So what do you got? What do you got for an honorable mention?
For my first honorable mention, how many do we want to do? I have 3.
Fine.
Actually 4.
I got more than that, so we'll go with those.
I actually have 4.
Right.
But the first one is Sailing.
Christopher Cross.
Nice. Beautiful.
Mellow.
I mean, mellow, beautiful song. Has apparently a dark origin to the song. Apparently it's about,
Robert Shaw
escaping.
And the orca?
No, it's apparently about him, I guess, when he was a child, he was abused.
Huh.
So the song is a sort of,
escape.
Escape is a cathartic thing.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful song.
Sorry,
Just that guitar riff alone gets you.
Yeah.
It's hypnotic. It's throughout the song. Even the chimes, which could be the cheesiest thing you hear, like like that. That stuff could be cheesy if it's, but in this song it's perfect. It sets the tone. It sets the mood. You really feel like you're on a boat, sailing out there, and it's just it's
another mood
song.
setter.
Yeah.
That's another mood setting song for you.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
This one has been on. This was on the honorable mention the whole time, and it was the first honorable mention I wrote down. Even though the top 5 changed, Heart and Soul by Huey Lewis never left the honorable mentions.
Wow, there you go.
Right? It's just one of those songs that kind of like it's just such a great, again, it's just got such a great beat to it. It's just got such a nice feel to it. It's maybe it's evocative, maybe it's a sentimental favor to it. That song really evokes a certain time period.
Yeah.
So Heart and Soul by Huey Lewis and the News was kind of like it was always on the outs. It was always ever going to be on the outskirts, but it was always going to be an honorable mention. But it's definitely there. So what else you got? Scrolling through.
Another horn. Just another sort of jazzy, at least this version of it anyway. Actually, I think all the versions have horns in it, but there's different tempos to the song. But it's Grazing in the Grass. Friends of Distinction. Their version, they wrote lyrics to it. I think the original version was Hugh Masekela, and it's sort of a Latin rhythm to it, and it's like it's
Grazing in the Grass is great.
But I love that. And it's like, again, the energy, the
classic,
the boisterous,
classic sound. If you don't know the song we're talking about, once you hear it on the playlist, you'll be like, oh, that just like Eric didn't know what More Today Than Yesterday was, but once you won't know the title Grazing in the Grass, but you'll know the song Grazing in the Grass. It is a classic, absolutely a classic. That's a great one. I went back to the 60s as well. For another, these were guys who were a 2-hit wonder, but they changed vocalists. The Foundations, Build Me Up Buttercup. How can you go? Okay. You can't go wrong with Build Me Up Buttercup. That's a song that everybody can sing along to. It's just one of those fun. Build Me Up Buttercup is just a fun, summery, yeah, there's like nothing, like you can't be in a bad mood when you're listening to a song called "Build Me Up, Buttercup." Right? It's just kind of like, it's kind of like one of those songs. It's a great. That's what great pop music did. And that might even be bubblegummy. That might fall into bubblegum pop, but.
What are we thinking of? With the word buttercup. Oh, this is your buttercup. Buttercup.
Come, buddy. Come back to old Buttercup.
Come back, buddy.
Come back to old Buttercup.
She's never gonna change. She's gonna be the same old way, Alice.
And Norton's going, "Oh, God, you Buttercup." Will you shut up? Great.
Honeymooners, as we are referring to the Honeymooners classic episode, of course, with the record,
mother-in-law,
Alice, the mother-in-law, and Blabbermouth, and but the fact that she calls him Buttercup kills me. It kills me, Anyway,
so what else you got? So that's our second. Those are two. So right now you're getting 10. Right now there's 14 songs on the playlist, which is incredible. We're not stopping. We're going to keep going. What else you got?
So this is another one from the 90s, and I guess this one I kind of dedicate. She didn't pick it, but I'm gonna, because this is one of those one hit wonder type albums. Mm-hmm. It's the Cardigans, Love Fool, which was, to me, they always reminded me a little bit of like ABBA, mm-hmm. I guess in a way, because of the because they're Norwegian or so, but they had that sort of quirky feel to their songs. Yeah. And I just, this song it's just a danceable tune. It's a nice tune. One. I love her vocal on it. It's light, it's poppy. It's just pleasant. I really dig that song. I liked actually the whole album. First Band in the Moon mm-hmm. is the name of the album. There's a song on there called Happy Meal 2, which is this kind of eerie thing that Kelly actually, she had made a playlist for me like way back in the day. She put this song on the playlist. It was like, it's, the first meeting, dinner, and, I'm taking a bath and my bubble bath. It's just this weird, you get this imagery in your head. If, you see I don't know her name. I'm sorry. But if you saw her face, you could definitely see this imagery. Like you could see her taking of the lead singer, mm-hmm. like doing these things as she's describing. And, it's just a fun.
Yeah, Love Fool's a great song. That's a great. I can go 90s. I can go 90s.
Yeah.
You want the 90s? I think it's the 90s.
I want the 90s. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's see. Are we doing two more or one more? Right.
I got one more.
So we got four. So we can do two more. Okay. So I'm going to go with 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies. That's just a jumpy, fun. Try and rap if you can lyrics. Any any lyric that can say, like Harrison Ford, I'm frantic, based on, because he was in the movie, like Sting, I'm tantric, because he was into the tantric sex. Very clever, like a song is that clever, while they're rapping the lyrics, and it's so bouncy, and I used to play the shit out of that song when it came out.
Much better than We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel.
Yeah, it's different.
They do that. They put that stuff in there, that whatever.
Yeah, X-Files.
Whatever was hip at the time. Yeah. But in a sort of pop cultural like kind of way, and I think it's just, to me,
1 Week is just so smartly done.
But they were great. They were a very underrated band. I feel that they had a lot of great stuff. I love their first album, Gordon, which was amazing.
Yeah. So
that's another great.
That was always when that came out. That was always on. All right, one more each. What do you got?
All right, this one I actually, in all honesty, I didn't even get a chance to listen to, because it just came like right at the last minute, and I was bringing my oldest son Zach home from work, and I said, "Give me a feel good song, real quick." And he goes, "Well, I have to go with like the emo kind of stuff that I loved in the 90s, Fall Out Boy. And it's Sugar We're Going Down." Yeah. Yep. So I think I know it. I know but I'd have to, but that's one of his favorites. So he loves that, he goes, it's really catchy.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy was huge. So, they were gigantic in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like Fall Out Boy was just like, it was everything. What was that guy's? What was the bass player's name? He wasn't even the singer. And Pete, it was like Pete something. And he was like the pinup guy. Like he was like, like everyone loved him, but he was like the bass player. He wasn't even, I was like, because when I finally heard the band and saw him, I'm like, wait, he doesn't sing? The other guy looks like a schlub, like kind of like, wearing a hat. And I was like, okay. This guy, the sex symbol is like the bass player, but he wasn't like the lead singer. Yeah. Pete, I can't remember Pete something, but
kind of like John Taylor from Duran Duran.
Well, everybody in Duran Duran was a sex symbol, basically. Nick Rhodes behind the keyboard, with the makeup on. They all were. That was like pick your sex symbol, like the Beatles.
But that's definitely my son Zach's era.
Yeah,
System of a Down, bands like that, like just those kinds, But that was his pick. He was like, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, oh.
There you go.
Fall Out Boy,
easy. That's great. He doesn't labor over it like we do. We're sitting here, I'm sitting here sweating like I'm taking the SATs.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm gonna color the dot outside the line. I have to erase it, and then they'll think it was a different answer. My last one is from that era as well, and it's probably the most summary song, and it's called "Steal My Sunshine" by a group called Len.
Yep. Okay.
They take the riff from "More, More, More" by Andrea True Connection from the 70s. That her instrumental break, they sample that and they make a song called "Steal My Sunshine" around it, which is just, again, it's just a great summary song. It's just a great, there was some great pop going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, and these groups were emblematic of it. So there was some feel good stuff even later in music history, but then after that, it just all went to shit.
Yeah, it has that catchy,
until Lizzo came and. But anyway.
It has that catchy. I don't know what it is, but it has like what is it? That. I don't know what the instrument is. Is it some kind of percussion?
Yeah, I don't know.
But like throughout the song, it almost sounds like a wood block or something but it's heavy reverbed.
Yeah, and then they have that riff just going over and over from more. So it just kind of keeps, finding the right riff and using it in the right way is everything. If you're gonna do that, it's like finding it and using it the right way. And for "Steal My Sunshine," it kind of it's done right. So that's gonna be what 18. It's gonna be an 18 song playlist. So that won't fit on vinyl. That would have to be a CD burn. So. But that's
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great one. And yes, for proof, I will link the article, the scientific proof from this Norwegian scientist of how he determined it through science. Pure science, as Spock would say, or pure energy, he would say.
Pure energy. Pure energy.
But we're gonna leave it there, and hopefully you'll find, hopefully you'll enjoy these songs, but hit us up on social media and let us know. What else? If you want us to add something to the playlist, throw it on. We'll add it to the playlist. We'll crowdsource this playlist. So hit us up on YouTube if you're watching this. Hit us up on obviously Facebook or Instagram also, and let us know. Give us a song to add to the playlist, and you can make this playlist your own. You can say, yeah, I helped contribute to this playlist. So we'd love to hear it. Feel good songs though, not dark and dour.
Yeah, right.
No,
exactly.
No 80 Winehouse, unfortunately. But
right.
But that's gonna do it, right? Yeah, no angst, no Nirvana, none of that. Leave it. That'll be a different show. But that's gonna do it for this episode of the 3324 podcast. Like I said earlier, you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and of course YouTube. We've got our episodes up there, so you could find us. We're not hard to find. We're not hiding. So for Eric, this has been Dean. We will catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 podcast and on Twitter at 3324p to join the conversation.